Welcome back to the 2-minute warning. Back on the topic of the NFL today. Today, Jay and I are talking LA Chargers, more specifically Justin Herbert, and whether or not he can win an MVP in the 2021 season. He showed so much promise last year. What did he throw for 31 touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken? 31 touchdowns out of a rookie quarterback that didn't even play a full season. Super impressive. I know you Chargers fans love Justin Herbert, and I think there's a super bright future there. So we're looking at whether or not he can win an MVP in 2021. But before we get into the video, question of the day, and that is going to be Aaron Donald versus Joey Bosa in a fight, obviously in the light of Aaron Donald's recent incident where he beat somebody up at a club. That's what inspired this. So we got Aaron Donald versus Joey Bosa in a fight. Who you guys taking? Comment below, and at the end of the video, you'll hear Jay and I's opinion. But Jay, all in all, does Justin Herbert have a shot for MVP in 2021?
Yeah, I definitely think he has a shot. I mean, arguably, if he wasn't a rookie, he might have been at least in the conversation last year. He wouldn't have been a serious threat, but I seriously think if he wasn't so young, his name would have at least been set as an honorable mention last year. And if he played a whole extra game, broke the all-time passing yards as a rookie, I seriously think he could have been in the conversation last year. But really, I don't really think this is going to be a Justin Herbert determining whether or not he will win MVP because he has the skill and talent, but around him, can he click and can they help him get there? Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, I like those guys, but Keenan Allen's probably honestly underrated in my opinion. When you talk about top receivers in the NFL, it seems like his name for some reason is always just falling to a tier 2, but really he is a tier 1 guy. But outside of him, can Mike Williams finally become the Chargers guy that they want him to be and be a long-term threat next to Keenan Allen? And can these younger guys and Tyron Johnson and Jalen Guyton step up and maybe be some serious threats for Justin Herbert to throw to in this offensive line? I think this is going to be the biggest ticket for Justin Herbert. And can they get him a serious left tackle in the draft? I'm not going to say looking at an offensive line with Penei Sewell, but being very conservative yet realistic. Say they get a Christian Darrisaw, and then on your offensive line you look at Christian Darrisaw, Oday Abushi. It's a weird name. Corey Linsley, Matt Filer, and Brian Bulaga. That is a pretty good starting roster for Justin Herbert on that offensive line. And let alone, they went 7-9 last year. I seriously think the addition of just Corey Linsley and just Brandon Staley alone are automatically almost an extra 3 wins, in my opinion. You're already looking at a 10-win team now. So like I said, I think he himself has the skill to do it 100%, but can the team around him fully click? On paper, it seems to be there, but on the field, we'll just have to see.
Yeah, I think I definitely agree with what you said, but I want to take it kind of a different way. I do think that they have put together a team now. Like you said, that left tackle position is still somewhat of a gap, but definitely addressable in the draft. Like you said, maybe with Darrisaw. But I do think that the Chargers have put together a team that can give Herbert the tools, and now I just think it's up to Herbert to do so. Like we said, 31 touchdowns last season, only threw 10 interceptions. So that right there shows maturity, even though it was only his rookie season. So I do think Justin Herbert has has shown the direction that he can win MVP. I definitely think it's on the table. He's got the arm strength, he's got the mobility, he's got the physical size, he's got it all. He seems to have shown the football IQ. So I guess I'm not really sure. I guess with Mahomes and Lamar, second years were really good. So it's not like, I don't know, I guess put in baseball perspective, a guy comes into the league, then by their second year you learn how to get him out. You learn how to pitch to him. I don't know if it's going to be that same way with Herbert going into his second year, but the last couple quarterbacks that have been top of the game as a rookie have really came out and had a good second season. So I'm expecting that from Justin Herbert. He throws the ball really well, and I'm not disagreeing with you, but I think that the on-paper roster will be good enough to give Justin Herbert the chance. It's just a matter of will he be able to play well enough to get that opportunity. Looking at the other guys in the league, Justin Herbert can have a 40-touchdown season and do exactly what we think he can do and still miss out on winning MVP in a league with Mahomes and, of course, Rodgers. But I personally think Rodgers is going to see a decline this year. Not on good terms with the Packers, and I just don't think they're going to be that good. So I think it's going to be Mahomes, of course, and then Josh Allen, I think, will come take a rise towards that spot. And then, hell, I don't know, maybe Rodgers will probably be there too. So Mahomes, Herbert will definitely have to edge out very good players for this. But what I realistically predict is Justin Herbert to live up to what we think he will. Throw 40 touchdowns, lead the Chargers to the playoffs, but I just don't think he's going to win MVP.
Yeah, I kind of agree. And earlier I said I think the addition of a top center to lead that offensive line and Corey Linsley and a new head coach in Brandon Staley is an automatic 3 wins. And I still stand by that and believe that. but there's a chance Brandon Staley isn't the guy we expect him to be, and he
we
doesn't
talked this
click.
same exact conversation way before Staley was around, so that's kind of
Exactly.
what changed it up for us.
So if Brandon Staley is what we think he is, former quarterback, he came to the Chargers, then the Chargers thought he was gonna pitch them a huge defensive scheme, but the biggest reason he didn't leave the building without a job is because of the ideas he had for Justin Herbert in the offense. So clearly he's very offensive minded as well, even though that wasn't his expertise. That doesn't mean he doesn't have that skill. So I hope that's an immediate click, but there is a chance Brandon Staley does not, and that could hold Herbert back. Joe Lombardi, the offensive coordinator, possibly running a Saints offense. We'll see how that works. Maybe Justin Herbert and Austin Eckler can rack up a bunch of numbers and a bunch of safe plays that is going to be passed off to Eckler, and he's going to do the work, but it's going to be looking good on Herbert's part because he threw the ball. So I do think this offense can possibly fit him. Anything is going to be better than the run-centric offense he was dealing with Anthony Lynn, and I still think the offense he dealt with last year, he did amazing with 31 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, but overall, another thing to consider is the record. I like the Chargers, you like the Chargers, and we like them to be a wild card team, anywhere from 10 to 12 wins, 13 maybe. We're getting bold at that point, but
Some of you guys in the comments said 16-0.
Yeah.
17-0 is on the table.
it's getting bold. But realistically, I think we're looking at anywhere from 9 to 12 wins in a realistic scenario. And sometimes, I've mentioned this in our other MVP video, it seems like the MVP winning quarterback is always on that first seed team. Like they get a first round bye, whether it be a 14-2 Chiefs or a 13-3 Packers. The guy that led them there, the quarterback, is on the top team in the NFL. And I just don't see Justin Herbert and the Chargers winning the division, therefore becoming a wild card team. And I don't see a wild card quarterback. Unfortunately, he will be labeled that winning the MVP. It is going to be the quarterback that leads them to one of the best records in the NFL. And I like Herbert to lead a playoff record, but not the best record in the NFL.
Yeah, to compare the situation to another really good team in the AFC, the Cleveland Browns on offense have a situation in Baker Mayfield where he's got a backfield that I think should carry the offense, supplemented by him throwing the football. I think Justin Herbert has the complete opposite. I don't mean to hate on Austin Eckler. I think he's a good player, but I just don't see him as a good running back because he does not run the ball purely very well. He's good out of the backfield catching the football, but as a pure running back, not a huge fan of Austin Eckler. So everything that the Chargers offense does is going to revolve around Justin Herbert throwing the football, which will help his MVP case because it's going to run his numbers up. That's how he was able to win 7 games, or only win 7 games, throw for 31 touchdowns, and even with one of the worst O-lines, he's the middle of every single play. So I think that will help his MVP case, but also be one of the reasons why the Chargers might not be a 13-14 win team yet, is because I think they're missing a key running piece. So again, I think Justin Herbert is going to have to be with the 17th game. You're gonna expect 45 touchdowns out of an MVP quarterback because I guess the threshold before was maybe not that you're going to throw that many touchdowns in a game, but I think that the threshold was already 45. Now it might be a couple more. So Justin Herbert's going to have to make a huge jump from rookie to sophomore season and able to win MVP. But again, his name should be in the conversation.
Yeah, I think the running back situation is definitely worthy mentioning.
Yeah, it's hard I just explained it as an advantage, but it could also be seen as the other way.
Yeah, I do think it is an advantage because kind of like in the Buccaneers and Leonard Fournette, he's one-dimensional and just pushing the pile and being a power back.
we always laugh watching him play that every time you throw the ball to Lenny, it's scary because he drops a lot of passes.
Well, Austin Eckler, every time you pass it off or hand it off to him, you just think he's going to get stuffed and lose yardage. And I'm not, like you said, we're not saying he sucks, but he is a receiving back, which will help Herbert's numbers. But when you can't push the pile on the ground and hand it off and rely on, that might put Justin Herbert in some weird 3rd and long situations, which can hurt his numbers when he doesn't have a running back to rely on 2nd and 8 to make it a 3rd and 4. It's still stuck at 3rd and 8. So maybe they'll look at running backs in the draft, Trey Sermon in the late 4th round or something like that, or I haven't even really considered this off my top of my head, but a Todd Gurley who's still floating around free agency. If he's looking for a $1 million contract, Chargers take the risk. He, at some point early in the season last year, was leading the league in touchdowns for the Falcons. Again, don't have faith in Todd Gurley, but if he's floating around for $1 million, see what you could do. Either way, this is about Herbert, not the run game, but I do think a running back is needed for him to rely on. And I like him overall to be in the conversation. I see him taking a jump like Josh Allen where we're talking about him, but to hold the trophy and win it all and become MVP, I can't give it to him yet.
Yeah, back on what you said, I think back to my previous point is it might be those third and 11, 12 plays that we know he can make, that's going to make him just look good enough to maybe pull it off. So I think Justin Herbert, we certainly can't expect a second-year guy to win MVP, but Patrick Mahomes did it, and Lamar did it. So it's very doable and has been done several times in the recent past. And to say that Justin Herbert can't have, I mean, Lamar Jackson threw for 36 had 36 touchdowns in his MVP season, but like I said, hard to compare the two guys because Lamar's just his own kind of player. So all in all, I think Justin Herbert's got the talent, but don't expect an MVP out of him.
The draft's going to determine a lot.
Yep. They got to address that left tackle spot. So that's our take for can Justin Herbert win MVP. All in all, the answer is yes, he can, but it's certainly not going to be easy in a league with all the talented quarterbacks. But as far as the question of the day, Joey Bosa, Aaron Donald, who are you taking?
If you guys saw that picture of the guy that Aaron Donald supposedly just beat up, that's going to be hard to argue against because me and Carson were saying, did Aaron Donald beat the crap out of him or did Aaron Donald hit him one time? Did he hit him one time and that caused it by just one hit? So that's a little scary not knowing if that was just from one hit. But in all seriousness, I think I'm going to stick with Aaron Donald. This picture is just kind of scary to go by. Joey does kind of have the height and weight on him, but pure muscle. Not to say Joey Bosa doesn't have some strength to himself, but pound for pound, Aaron Donald's the strongest guy in the league, and I'm going to go with him.
I like Joey Bosa, but I think for a scenario like this, it might take a gorilla for me to choose that over Aaron Donald. So I'm going Aaron Donald again. Aaron Donald stays undefeated in my book. Guys, that's all for the video. Thanks for watching. Tune in, Warren.